Can carbohydrates help you preserve muscle mass when your protein intake is low? The question this person has is about traveling. And when they go on the travel, when they will not be maybe exercising too much and they will not have easy access to high protein or protein rich meals, will carbohydrates that are also easy to access when you are traveling, either in form of fruits, fast foods, at restaurants, help preserve muscle mass? When we talk about muscle breakdown or using muscle as a fuel for your body, that usually happens as the result of being in a high caloric deficit, or because you are doing kind of resistance training or high intensity interval training or endurance training, maybe CrossFit, that requires a lot of blood sugar immediately, and you have either low glycogen stores or you run out of glycogen stores and your blood glucose. That is when your body will reach for those muscles or amino acids stored as muscle. You are also during that exercise breaking down the muscle, so these free amino acids that enter in your bloodstream, they don't get recycled back, but they will be used as a fuel. So that is why it is important during endurance exercise to preserve your blood glucose, to help preserve also like your glycogen, because you want to avoid partially also your muscle breakdown when it is not necessary. So in this context, carbohydrates have a function of preserving muscle mass. But in the context of you are going for a business trip, when you are not using your blood sugar immediately because your metabolism runs on fats, then specifically carbohydrates will not have muscle preserving effect. Having said that, it doesn't mean that you will be losing muscle even if you are like not resistance training. And here is why. When you are not resistance training for that short period of time, let's say for a week or for two, you will not suddenly start losing muscle that you have built, especially if your total caloric intake is not low, meaning you are not in a caloric deficit. So if you are at about maintenance levels, you are getting, let's say, suboptimal intake of protein. That's not a problem. Your body will not be breaking the muscle. It has no reason to reach for the muscle to break it down, because why? It's getting fuel or energy from the fat, from carbohydrates. Even if you were in a slight energy deficit, even then it will be burning those carbohydrates first, then also fat. But it has no reason to really be reaching for the muscle mass. The whole point is losing muscle mass is much harder than building it. So once you build it, it's relatively easy to maintain it. Here is an example how I specifically lost a lot of muscle mass, and that was by doing a lot of fasted cardio. So this means like 30 kilometers run on a fasted, basically on empty, doing interval trainings, doing tempo workouts and so on. So these are the conditions like CrossFit endurance training, when you need a lot of glucose, a lot of glycogen to support that activity, but you don't have it. So once again, your body breaks down the muscle for glucose via so-called gluconeogenesis. Other than that, I would not be worried about it. So you will not be losing muscle, don't worry about that. If you want to preserve muscle, all you need to do is do some resistance training, and it can be even body weight, but if you can go harder, that's also probably better, because training makes about 80% of the success. Diet or protein intake in that sense is about just 20%. If you want to learn more about this topic of fasted training, how it interacts with muscle building, muscle protein breakdown and synthesis, I have a video where I answer this question in more detail. You'll find it here or in the description of the video. Go check it out. Hope this helps, and if you have this question, you can comment below the video or reach me directly through the social media. Links are in the description.